If you have to make somebody feel your absence in their soul, you've already been living too small in their presence. Listen, that's not punishment. That's truth. Because the moment your whole life becomes, how do I make an avoidant crave me? You've left your center, you've given away your energy, and now the pattern is running you versus you running the pattern. And all of us do this. We do it when we want love. We do it when we want certainty. We do it when we want somebody to finally choose us in the way we've already chosen them. But here's the thing. The more you chase being chosen, the less you remember you were supposed to be choosing. And that changes everything. You don't make another human being feel you in their soul by pressing harder. You make them feel you by becoming so congruent, so clean, so non-negotiable in your energy that your presence lands and your absence echoes. That's different. It's not strategy, it's state. It's not manipulation, it's meaning. It's not getting them back, it's getting you back. Let me say that again. It's not getting them back. It's getting you back. Because an avoidant doesn't pull away only because of you. They pull away because closeness activates a pattern, and that pattern has rules. And those rules were usually written long before you ever walked into the room. So if you make their distance mean I am not enough, you are taking their nervous system and turning it into your identity. That's too high a price, my friend. Way too high. Now, what does that mean to you? It means if you want someone to crave your energy, your first job is to stop leaking it. If you want someone to feel you in their soul, your first job is to stop offering yourself in fragments. Half truth, half boundary, half dignity, half love. You can't teach somebody the value of your presence while abandoning yourself in order to keep theirs. That never works. We don't experience relationships. We experience the relationships we focus on. There are 1,000 signals in any connection right now, and most of them you will never notice. If your focus is on their delay, their mixed signals, their inconsistency, their withdrawal, your body starts producing a meaning around that focus. And now the story gets louder than the truth. Now a 5-hour silence becomes rejection. Now a hesitant text becomes proof. Now their confusion becomes your emotional home. That is the trap. So what's behind the story? It's your state, your emotional state. And your state is being shaped by what you rehearse every day. The missed call, the last conversation, the way they looked at you before they disappeared emotionally. You keep playing the same internal film and then wonder why the same emotion keeps showing up. But the brain, the body, your nervous system, they're not separate from focus. Focus is command. Focus is instruction. Focus tells your body what world you're living in. And I want you to see this. There's 3 decisions you make every moment of your life. The first decision is what are you going to focus on? The second decision is what meaning are you going to give it? The third decision is what are you going to do because of that meaning? Most people never make these decisions consciously. They let the pattern decide, they let history decide, they let fear decide. So the avoidant pulls back and your focus goes to loss. The meaning becomes I'm unwanted. The action becomes over-giving, over-explaining, over-pursuing, shrinking, waiting, performing. And then you call that love. It isn't love. It's survival dressed up as devotion. Again, if you focus on what you can't control, your energy goes there. If you control what you focus on, you control your life. Both worlds exist. The external you can influence, the internal you can lead. One makes you a hostage. The other makes you powerful, and people feel the difference. Oh, they feel it immediately. Because energy speaks before words do. You can say, I'm fine, and your body says, please don't leave me. You can say, take your time, and your nervous system says, I'm drowning. You can say, I respect your space, and your behavior says, I'll betray myself to keep a door cracked open. People don't respond only to your language. They respond to your congruence, to the pattern, to the invisible force underneath the sentence. Here's the truth. An avoidant doesn't crave the version of you that is begging to be understood. They crave the version of you that understands yourself so deeply you do not collapse in the face of ambiguity. That doesn't mean cold. It doesn't mean hard. It doesn't mean game playing. It means rooted. It means you can love without losing your center. It means your affection is real, but your foundations are stronger than your fantasy. And that is rare. Most people want intensity versus truth, chemistry versus character, contact versus consistency. They want the text, the glance, the late-night vulnerability, the almost, the ache, And they call it depth because it feels big. But big emotion is not always deep love. Sometimes it is just old pain with good lighting. You want to know why? Because the body will confuse familiar pain for meaningful connection if you haven't healed the meaning maker inside you. If chaos feels like home, then calm will feel boring. If distance feels like childhood, then longing will feel like romance. If uncertainty was your first language, then clarity can almost feel suspicious. So you don't chase them because they're extraordinary. You chase them because the pattern is extraordinary in its grip. I know this because I lived enough of it in different forms to understand the mechanism. I began with anger in my life. That was fuel, real fuel. It got me moving, it got me pushing, it got me driven. But push is not the same as pull. Pain can get you started, but pain cannot give you peace. And some of you are trying to build love with survival fuel. It burns hot, but it burns dirty. It makes you reach, perform, prove, wait, hope, endure. Then one day, you wake up exhausted and call that heartbreak, when part of it is identity fatigue. You got tired of abandoning yourself. That's what really hurts. We don't experience love. We experience the love our nervous system believes it deserves. There are people offering consistency every day, and some of us don't even see them, because our focus has been trained to find intensity. There are doors opening softly, and we run right past them looking for the slammed one. That's distortion. That's deletion. That's the pattern. Now listen to me carefully. If you want an avoidant to feel you in their soul, stop trying to get inside their head. Get back inside your own life. That is the fastest way. That is the simplest way. The strongest force in attraction is not need. It is grounded aliveness. It is somebody who has a life on their terms, a mission, standards, warmth, openness, and enough self-respect that love becomes an extension of themselves, not the replacement for themselves. It's like the old story of taking the island. If you want to take the island, you burn the boats. Why? Because when retreat is available, the mind negotiates. When half-love is available, your heart negotiates. When crumbs are available, your standards negotiate. So you keep one foot on the shore and one foot in the boat, and then you wonder why your energy feels split. Burn the boats means no more bargaining with behavior that breaks your spirit. Burn the boats means if somebody wants access to your heart, they show up with presence, not potential. Burn the boats means your life is not waiting at the dock for somebody to become emotionally available. That's power. And that power is felt, not announced. Felt. You don't have to post it. You don't have to perform it. You don't have to threaten anybody with your absence. When your energy is clean, the room changes. When your standards are real, the dynamic changes. When your attention returns to your body, your purpose, your friends, your work, your rituals, your joy, your spiritual life, your sense of meaning, the emotional economy changes. Suddenly, you are not asking, can they see my value? You are asking, can they meet my reality? That's a whole different world. So what's the real mistake? It's believing your value rises when they finally choose you. No, your value is constant. Their capacity is variable. Don't confuse those two things. Don't ever confuse them. Now let me be honest with you. Some of you are not in love. You are in suspense. And suspense is seductive. Suspense gives the mind a problem to solve. It gives the heart a fantasy to feed. It gives the ego a mountain to climb. But love is not a riddle. Love is not a maze. Love is not a prize hidden behind enough self-sacrifice. Love may challenge you. Love may require courage. Love may call you higher. But real love does not require you to disappear in order to keep it alive. It's not mystery. It's inconsistency. It's not passion. It's dysregulation. It's not a soulmate sign. It's an unhealed pattern. And if that stings, good, because sometimes truth has to interrupt the story before your life can change. I believe this deeply. If you suffered as a kid, if you were unseen, if you had to become easy to love by becoming low maintenance, funny, useful, overaware, hyper-independent, emotionally intelligent before your time, then you might still carry that strategy into adult love and call it devotion. But here's what happens when who you are now meets the child you were. You stop seeing damage only as damage. You start seeing adaptation. You start seeing intelligence. You start seeing survival. The fact that you were alone may be why you became self-sufficient. The fact that nobody came may be why you learned to stand. The fact that your heart broke early may be why your compassion runs so deep right now. The fact that you had to read the room may be why you can read a soul. The fact that love felt uncertain may be the exact reason you now hunger for truth. That is not nothing. That is a gift if you use it consciously, because your wound is not your destiny. It is raw material. It is the place the hero's journey begins. The call is not, why did this happen to me? The call is, what is this asking me to become? And the dragon is not the avoidant. The dragon is your compulsion to earn what should be given freely. Slay that, and you become the hero. Not because somebody stayed, because you did. Life happens for you, not to you. And it's your job to figure it out. Now, some people hear that and think it means excuse bad behavior. I don't think so. It means extract meaning without surrendering discernment. It means pain can teach without becoming your home. It means you can forgive without re-entering the fire. It means you can understand someone's history and still refuse the consequences of their unhealed pattern in your daily life. Compassion is beautiful. Self-abandonment is expensive. You, my friend, need to know the difference. We don't experience another person's intent. We experience their pattern. They may mean well. They may care. They may even love you in the only way they know how. But if the pattern is closeness followed by withdrawal, vulnerability followed by shutdown, connection followed by confusion, then intent does not cancel impact. A warm heart with a destructive pattern still leaves damage. And some of you are trying to live on the memory of their best moment versus the reality of their repeated one. That's where suffering grows. Wishing for confidence without competence is just delusion. And in love, competence looks like this. Can you tell the truth quickly? Can you hold a boundary cleanly? Can you regulate your body when somebody becomes uncertain? Can you say, I care about you, and I care about me too much to live inside confusion? Can you walk away without making your departure a performance? Can you bless someone and still release them? That's competence. Emotional competence, relational competence, spiritual competence. And it changes your whole life. Because the minute you become competent in protecting your state, your standards, your focus, you stop being magnetic to dysfunction in the same way. You might still feel chemistry. You might still feel that pull. But now there's space between the feeling and the decision. And that space is freedom. It's not ability. It's motive. If your motive is to get them, you'll betray yourself. If your motive is to know the truth, you'll become free. If your motive is to be chosen, you'll negotiate the immutables. If your motive is to build something meaningful, you'll ask better questions sooner. You'll stop being hypnotized by spark and start measuring substance. That's maturity. Now, what does that mean to you right now? It means you need a drill, not theory, a drill, something you can do in the next 24 hours that interrupts the pattern. Here it is, 90 seconds. Non-negotiable. The moment you feel the urge to check, chase, replay, decode, or reach for someone who has put you in emotional limbo, stop. Sit down. Put both feet on the floor. Breathe deep and hard for 3 breaths. Then ask and answer out loud 3 things. What am I focusing on right now? What meaning am I giving it? What action does that meaning want me to take? Then ask one more question. What would self-respect do in the next 10 minutes? Not forever, just the next 10 minutes. Do that. And when the answer comes, follow it immediately. Put the phone down. Leave the room. Go outside. Call a grounded friend. Lift weights. Pray. Journal 1 page. Turn on music and move your body. But interrupt the compulsion before it becomes behavior. Because every pattern in your life has a doorway. And for most people, the doorway is not the big decision. It's the tiny one. The reach. The refresh. The reread. The fantasy. The one text disguised as closure. Focus is the master key. Focus is the lens. Focus determines everything. The basketball player understands this. People look at greatness and see talent. They don't see 2 million shots. They don't see the foundations. They don't see the repetition. They don't see the 7 days a week, the years, the boring discipline, the body trained to do what the mind no longer negotiates. So somebody says, I want confidence. Fine. Confidence from what? From wishing, from waiting, from one inspirational video? No. Confidence comes from evidence. Evidence comes from reps. In relationships, the reps are boundaries. The reps are honesty. The reps are keeping promises to yourself when your emotions are loud. You fool no one, especially not your own nervous system. It knows whether you trust you. That matters more than you think. And I know I'm right about this, because once you trust you, your whole energy changes. Your laughter changes. Your eye contact changes. Your standards stop sounding like demands and start sounding like peace. Your body is no longer saying, please pick me. It is saying, this is who I am. Meet me here. That is the energy people crave. Not because it is withholding, because it is whole. Whole is attractive. Desperate is loud. And avoidance, like everybody else, can feel the difference even if they can't explain it. Now let me be honest with you again. There is a part of you that believes if you become unforgettable enough, healing enough, sexy enough, wise enough, patient enough, then the avoidant will finally drop the armor and love you right. Maybe. Sometimes people do grow, sometimes timing changes, sometimes pain teaches. I've seen miracles in human beings. I've worked with enough people to know nobody is fixed forever. But here's what I also know. You cannot build your life on somebody else's maybe. That will drain your soul. The fastest way to become unforgettable is not to contort yourself into their ideal. It is to become fully expressed in your own truth. Purpose, joy, service, standards, play, presence. A life so real that even if they walk away, the current of who you are keeps moving. And if they do feel you later, if they do miss you, if they do crave the steadiness, the warmth, the depth, the energy you carried, let it be because it was real, not because it was performed. It's not scarcity, it's substance. It's not distance, it's dignity. It's not revenge, it's alignment. And that's why it lands in the soul. You know, there's a stage people go through in growth. First, you're unconsciously incompetent. You don't know what pattern is running you. Then you become consciously incompetent. Now you see it and it hurts, because you watch yourself doing the thing you said you wouldn't do. Then comes conscious competence. You pause, you breathe, you choose differently on purpose. Awkwardly, slowly, imperfectly. Then one day, with enough reps, it becomes unconscious competence. Peace becomes natural. Standards become natural. Walking away from confusion becomes natural. Not because you're cold, because you're free. That latter matters. Most people quit in the second phase because awareness without skill feels miserable. You start noticing every distortion, every deletion, every old story, every place you make someone else the source of your worth. Good. Stay there long enough to build the new muscle. Don't run because it feels ugly. Every extraordinary life is built in that awkward middle where you are no longer unconscious, but not yet elegant. That's the garden. And the mind is a garden. If you don't plant it, the pests come. If you don't tend it, the weeds win. If you keep saying, I'm trying not to think about them, you're running from the diet instead of changing the diet. It's like standing in front of a spinning propeller and bargaining with it. Beautiful machine. Deadly result. You don't stop the propeller by talking to it. You change the engine. You change the input. You change the rules. In your life, the engine is focus. The engine is environment. The engine is what you rehearse, who you talk to, what you tolerate, what you make meaningful every day. Change that, and the whole machine changes. And here's an original thing I want to give you. Your heart is like a tuning fork in a cathedral. Strike it against insecurity, and every echo sounds like fear. Strike it against self-respect, and the whole room begins to sing a different note. Same cathedral, same walls, different resonance. That is what happens when your energy changes. The world that answers you changes with it. You don't experience life. You experience the life you focus on. So stop focusing on how to make them crave your energy and start building energy worth craving. Health, mission, friends, learning, spiritual connection, financial responsibility, creative fire, real joy, a beautiful nervous system, a clean room, a strong body, a calendar that reflects what matters, daily rituals, 10 minutes of silence. Cold water on your face, a walk without your phone, food that stabilizes you, sleep that restores you, conversations that tell the truth. These are not side notes. These are foundations. These are the immutables. These are what make your presence powerful. Because when you are empty, attraction becomes extraction. When you are full, attraction becomes invitation. Both worlds exist. Choose your world. Some of you need to grieve something too. Not just the person, the fantasy. The future you wrote with somebody who never truly co-authored it. The version where their potential finally became your reality. Grieve that, respectfully, fully. Let it hurt. Let the tears come if they come. Let the body release what the mind has been managing. But don't confuse grief with evidence that you were meant to stay stuck. Grief is love looking for a new direction. Give it one. Give it purpose. Give it truth. Give it somewhere worthy to go. Because here's what I know. The human soul does not heal by obsession. It heals by meaning. Find something you care about more than being chosen, and you will feel your life come back into your body. Serve, create, build, mentor, learn, lead, give back. There is a reason the emptiness gets smaller when contribution gets bigger. From those to whom much is given, much is required. Not as a sermon, as a liberation. Because when your life becomes about more than your wound finally stops being the center of your identity. And then joy can return. Real joy. Not performative joy. Not I'm over it joy. Quiet joy. Honest joy. The kind that sneaks up on you while you're making breakfast, while you're lifting something heavy, while you're helping somebody else, while you're laughing with a friend, and realizing for 10 full minutes you forgot to be haunted. That matters. Celebrate that. Because healing is not one giant breakthrough. It is 1,000 little returns. Return to your body. Return to your values. Return to your standards. Return to your purpose. Return to the part of you that knows love should feel meaningful, not merely dramatic. Return enough times and one day you won't be returning. You'll just be there. Home in yourself. And if that person ever does come back around, if one day they feel the shift, if one day they look up and realize your energy is no longer reaching but radiating, then good. Let them meet the new environment. Let them meet the you who no longer confuses longing with destiny. Let them meet the you who can love deeply without collapsing. Let them meet the you who doesn't need to be rich and famous in someone's mind, because you already know what Jim Carrey was getting at. Everybody thinks if they just get the thing, the person, the image, the validation, then they'll be enough. Then they arrive and discover the inner world came with them. So do the inner work now. Don't wait for them to choose you to become who you are. You can't lose what you deserve. And if they never come back, if they never get it, if they never become capable of meeting the depth they once touched in you, then let that be information, not condemnation. You were not too much. You were too alive for somebody committed to emotional distance. That is different. And different matters. Quality of life is the quality of your emotions. So guard your emotional state like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. Protect what you watch. Protect what you rehearse. Protect who gets access. Protect the story you tell yourself at 2 a.m. Protect the meaning maker. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. You, my friend, are not here to beg for crumbs from people who fear the feast. You are here to become so real, so grounded, so loving, so clear, that every relationship in your life either rises to meet your truth or reveals that it cannot. That's a win either way. Because the goal is not to keep everybody. The goal is to stop losing you. That is the thesis. Not control, clarity, not seduction, substance, not chasing, choice. And if you remember nothing else, remember this. The soul of another human being is not moved most deeply by your pursuit. It is moved by your presence. And presence is born from a life that is aligned, from a heart that tells the truth, from a body that is no longer bargaining with abandonment, from a spirit that has found something more meaningful than obsession. You owe it to you. So decide what you focus on, decide what it means, decide what you will do the 90 seconds, burn the boats, build the life. Let your energy become clean enough that even your silence has integrity. Then if somebody craves you, beautiful. If they don't, you still win, because you did not come here merely to be desired. You came here to become who you really are.